Right. We did it. So there was me and like there was like 15 or something other people yesterday wait waiting, and I was like, oh, I obviously messed up the time. And I was like going back checking messages, and I was like, no, she said like 11:30. I just don't understand. I was like, maybe she forgot, or and I was like, oh, she didn't engage much when I tagged her in the stuff, so maybe she can't do it, but didn't know she fully couldn't do it. Now it makes sense because you always didn't engage, being like, this is like tomorrow. This guy's a jackass. Um, so we talked about the quarterfinal, the teams workouts for the quarterfinals instead.
Oh, nice.
And then I was like, all right, she's obviously just not coming. And I don't know how, but reading back the messages of the time, I missed the fact that the date was also changed from the 29th to the 30th. Just totally
Yeah.
glossed over that. And it was only afterwards that I was like, oh, I see what I've done here. Um, but it was a nice little 20 minutes practice of well, I didn't really do much. I kind of drowned and like fumbled around for a while. Um, but it's great to talk to you. You did teams like for years, right?
Yeah, for a long time.
So
Um,
when you see, obviously you're probably maybe a bit tired after quarterfinals yourself last week, but when you see the teams doing quarterfinals, is there any part of you that's like, oh shit, I kind of wish I was doing team?
oh, I love the team. Yeah, team stuff is always so much fun. I love like there's a different element to the team stuff where you have to coordinate with other people and cooperate and
Yeah,
all the communication and the strategy is so much more in depth. Like you see a workout for an individual and you're like, okay, I know what I got to do here. And you see a workout for a team and you're like, okay, we got to think about this,
yeah. Because
Uh,
it's like you're yeah, you have to think like, right, I know what I do, but I also know that that person doesn't like doing such and such a thing or whatever.
right. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah. Who do you put where, when, how do you maximize everybody's strengths and, you know,
mm.
it's, yeah,
Um, are you going to do the age group qualifiers just for fun? No,
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 no
just to
backup
say,
plan.
yeah. Because I was thinking, because so Steve Fawcett in the UK, he's qualified. Well, he's in like 61st, but there's two or three guys ahead of him that are going team. So he's going uh, to semifinals, and he's going to masters. And part of me was like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if he just like managed to join a team, qualify, and he qualified all the different possible
Yeah,
ways to
yeah.
qualify. Yeah. Um, yeah, no, it's cool. What did you think of the team workouts? Were you did any of them surprise you or anything?
No, I wasn't super surprised. I think they're cool. I think it's cool to see, it's just been like the third year of quarterfinals, but it's cool to
Hmm.
see team workouts in, the early stages of competition in online format. Um,
Yeah. Having done like team competition, like in-person competition stuff, I know it's cool to see team workouts, but is it difficult, do you think, in like from a judging capacity to do like I saw today, oh, I can't remember which workout it was. I think it was workout one. They needed to have two judges.
yeah.
But this sheet of paper, you're only allowed to name one judge and like, stuff like that. Like, do you think like is it tricky? Is it logistically difficult to do an actual team work like with synchro and all that kind of stuff
Mm.
in an affiliate compared to like in a live arena? Like, does it put more pressure on the teams, do you think?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it always takes so much more to coordinate a team workout. So I imagine, I haven't been on a team since they've had the online quarterfinals formats, but I would imagine that like making sure that I mean, when I was on a team, like the last few years we were on a team, it was very elite teams. So when you're a good team,
Hmm.
you are so tight and crisp that like the judging is almost less important, like you're
Yeah.
judging yourself. You hold yourself accountable for the
Yeah.
most part. When you're an elite athlete, you should be. Um,
Yeah.
but but
There's that the use of the word should there is
yeah,
absolutely
yeah.
vital. It's
I mean, there's
crucial.
definitely like an element of like riding the line pretty tightly. So like I'm sure, people make mistakes, but like um but you should be holding yourself to a very high
Mm,
standard. And
yeah.
you should be experienced enough to be able to do that. Um but I'm with less experienced teams, it does require a lot more feedback from judges, and you have to like there's like that one workout, you have to have 2 judges. There's too much going on at the same
Yeah.
time, for one person to manage and keep track of.
Yeah, it's almost like trying to judge one person doing V-ups.
Right.
You need 4 judges, one watching the feet, one watching the hands, one watching the head. Yeah. So, yeah, it's funny. Um, I actually so, Scott, I assume it's Scott from Clydesdale said that you belong in individual. I actually listened,
Oh, thanks.
to you. I listened to 2 shows that you did there. You did one with Kat and you did one with Scott, and I can't remember which one you said it on. But you said there was a time where you thought like I'm a team athlete and that's what that's my jam, that's my thing. What changed that? Why the shift in, oh, I'm just gonna do it solo?
Um, to be honest, I think I was kind of forced into it when they changed the team rules.
Yeah.
Um, we had a team ready to go for the 2020 season, and that was the year we got shut down with COVID things. Um,
Oh, you were
and
at Atlas, weren't you?
yeah, we were at the Atlas
Great.
games, all checked
Fun.
in,
Fun
ready to
weekend.
go. Yep.
It's like, do we still get to keep the stuff or
Totally. Yeah. I know. Yeah, that was crazy. But so we didn't get to compete, and then, when they changed the rules the next year, you weren't allowed to have a super team.
Hmm.
Um, and we just couldn't field a team with people locally. Um, so it was go indie or don't compete. And I was like, well, I'm a competitor, so I'm going to compete. That's just,
Was there any part of you then, um this year when they changed the rules again that was like, oh, or was it like, were you so fueled by last year that you were like, oh, I don't care, I'm still going individual?
No, actually, to be honest, there were a few people that reached out to go team.
Hmm.
And I thought about it. I considered it. Um,
Who?
a few people.
A few nondescript people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had a couple people, um and one I actually very seriously considered. We, sat down on a call, and maybe a
What
couple
can I
more.
ask? You don't have to be. You obviously don't have to get into specifics. But can I ask, like, what was it about that team that made you so seriously consider it? Was it just the contender aspect?
So I guess well, it was a misfit team, is
Okay.
I guess what I would say. So and for me, I sort of promised myself after I had a couple successful individual seasons, um, that I would only go team again if it was really the right team. I've had some really, really excellent teams that I've been on in the past. And so I just think I have a really high bar for what,
Yeah.
I expect of a team. I think it would just be disappointing and frustrating for me to be on a team where everyone was not fully committed and invested, and into like building an actual team, not just like putting together a group of qualified individuals.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's not fun, even on a super team. um if you're everyone's so far away and you're only traveling to like see each other when you have to be together to compete, like it might as well be an individual,
Yeah.
like coming together for competition. Like that's not the most fun part about being on a team. And so it's uh and for me, like it needed to be a team where we weren't just expecting to qualify for the games, we were expecting to like
Challenge.
do well at the games.
Yeah.
And there was an opportunity that I thought was gonna be good, and the reason I considered it was because it was a misfit team. Um, I've been competing under the Misfit brand for a long time. They've run my programming and my coaching and everything, and I really trust that they don't do anything in half measures. If they're going to do something, it's going to be fully committed. They're going to put resources behind it. They're going to put coaches behind it. They're going to make sure that it's not just a collection of individuals, but they're going to do the team building and the, you know, coordination to like make it a real team and make it really competitive. And
Yeah.
that was So I've just had a lot of trust that that would happen. I didn't have to like vet, and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
make sure that, "Oh, are you really serious about this? Do you really know what it takes to field an excellent team?" Or do you think this is just kind of like you got four good individuals and it's going to be a walk in the park?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Um, you recently put up a post saying that you something to do with Misfits and Sharpen the Axe. Was that just that you had joined, uh, like, what was if they've been doing your programming for a long time, what was behind that post then? Because that's confusing me.
Oh yeah. So I've been following Misfit Athletics as an athlete for a long time, but I was, paying for programming and my coaches and everything. I was just an athlete that,
Yeah,
really valued their program. But they just brought me on board as a sponsored athlete. So now I'm
that's cool.
representing the Misfit Athletics brand, as well as their Sharpen the Axe apparel brand and their Proper Fuel supplement company.
That's cool. I once swapped a bag of coffee for a T-shirt, with Drew in he's big into doing that kind of stuff.
Oh, awesome.
When that, I'm kind of working backwards. I had questions in my head. Oh fuck it, it doesn't matter. When that happens and that conversation happens about like, hey, you're following our programming and you're doing really well and we like coaching you and stuff and we want to make you a sponsored athlete. Is that like, oh fuck, I've made it, or is there any part of you that's like, oh, I'm kind of doing good the way I'm doing? Should I change things? Is it like, is there any reservations about that?
No, I was super stoked. Like I said, like I've been a really big fan for years since like 2018. And so it was just an opportunity for me to be more invested and for
Hmm.
us to like really work together. And I think the people there are awesome. So it was really just a natural fit.
Did you notice any like psychological change? As in, did you like find yourself being more applied to the training when you're, like when you're paid to do it as opposed to paying to do it? Did you find yourself like, oh shit, I got to work like twice as hard?
No, Hunter holds me accountable plenty without any other pressure. And I think I put so much pressure on myself anyway that
Yeah.
I don't know if that bar can go higher without
Um,
damaging.
yeah, without, yeah, the detrimental effects.
Yeah.
Um, did you live in Santa Cruz? Is that right?
Yeah.
Did you grow up there?
I grew up like 30 minutes away from here in the Bay Area, like Silicon Valley.
Wow, okay, that's cool. Um, I have this picture in my head of what it's like what California's like, and I feel like I'm way off. But I still can't change the picture in my head. I think the picture in my head of what California is like is every opening credits to every TV show that's set in California, just like mixed together in a weird like vomit of like sunshine and sunsets and everything. Um, so you grew up half an hour away. Were you sporty growing up? Were you involved in different sports?
All the sports.
Okay,
Yeah. I mostly soccer was my main sport when I was younger.
okay.
Although I tried everything from, gymnastics, volleyball, basketball, track. I played everything I could possibly play, but soccer was your
What age did you play soccer up until?
up until freshman year of high school. And then I'd sprained my ankles too many times.
Yeah.
And we got to the point where it just like I was overdosing on Advil and ibuprofen to try and keep myself going.
Yeah.
So,
It's like you can
uh,
keep going, but you're going to be a drug addict.
right.
Where did you play? What position did you play?
Outside mid.
Okay, so like a winger then.
Yeah,
Wow. Okay. Are you left footed or right footed?
right-footed.
Okay, so you're like the high school freshman female equivalent of like David Beckham then,
Yeah, yeah.
basically. Just to put it in
Basically.
terms, everyone can understand. That's
Yeah.
basically what you were. Okay. Okay. Do you follow football? Do you follow soccer?
Uh, Not as much anymore. My family is my whole family is a soccer family. So my brothers, especially my youngest brother, is living in London right now, and he's
Oh,
living
cool.
out his football fan dreams.
Who does he support?
Oh gosh.
Oh, you're about to be
Arsenal?
disowned. Oh yeah,
Ars
that's okay. Arsenal.
Okay, yeah, I
Arsenal.
am gonna be
Even if it's the
disowned
wrong
if I get
answer,
that
I'll
wrong.
accept Arsenal. Is there so there's teams? I'm trying to think. So LA Galaxy, obviously that's California, isn't it?
Mhm.
Who
The
else?
San
Is there
Jose
any other?
Earthquakes.
Oh
Um,
yes. Okay.
that's where, my brother actually my oldest brother played for them for a year.
Oh wow, like senior, like full, like
No, he was on the reserve team for a year.
that's cool.
Yeah,
That's cool. So he kept your dream alive. That's cool.
he did.
Um,
He did.
and so was that like was your sportiness? It obviously runs in the family then. If he's playing football and stuff as well. So was your sportiness like parents kind of going like you guys need to be active, or like were you guys naturally inclined to be that way?
We were pretty naturally inclined. I mean, my parents were active, so that was just kind of like, um, the thing that we did as a
Mm,
family, we were hiking, biking, swimming, all that stuff. So it just we were always and we had so much energy. It was kind of like we were not manageable unless you wore us out. so
yeah,
um, so I think that was just out of necessity. We needed to be active. We were getting into trouble. Uh,
yeah. Let's wear the
yeah,
fuckers out before bed.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, believe me, I know that feeling. Um, And then you, what stage? So freshman high school, you're what, like 15,
15,
14,
something
15?
like that. 15.
Um, yeah, I was actually talking to someone about this the other day. We don't have those words.
No, yeah,
Like
that's right.
someone was a Chalk put out an article of like Alex Kazan is a sophomore, and I was like, I had to ask like, what does
What does
that
that mean?
mean? Like I hear it in like TV shows and stuff, but if it's not integral to the script, don't care. Like if it does, it's not going to move the plot forward. I don't care. But like in Ireland, we just talk normally and we just say first year,
Yeah,
second year. It's not like I'm a
you
sophomore.
have
What does
fancy
that
words
mean?
for
I'm in
it.
second. Yeah, just say second. Like what? Why bother? It's like when people, when you have a baby and it's like fucking 3 years old and you say it's 36 months, or
Oh,
like, so
yeah,
it's three, just say it's one and a bit. It's like
right,
it's one and a half. Yeah, roughly. I just want a ballpark age. If I'm asking
right.
what age it is, just throw shit at the wall, just tell me roughly what age it is. um okay, so did you remain active in different ways then after your ankle issues?
Yeah, they basically, told me that I could play non-weight bearing sports. So, I switched to water polo.
Oh, okay. That's
Uh,
the sport where all the horses drown, isn't it?
that's right, yeah, you ride horses in the water.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Great swimmers, great swimmers. Okay, explain water polo to me then, because I kind of have a there's like small little. Is that the nets? Are the nets on the edge of the pool, or are they hanging?
They're on the edges of the pool.
Okay,
Yeah.
and they're like mini like soccer goals, kind of, aren't they? They're like
Yeah,
little.
mini soccer goals, or, like, the best way I would describe it is like a hockey net.
Oh,
Like,
are they that big?
uh, yeah, they're probably bigger than a hockey, like ice hockey.
Jeez,
Um,
I thought in my head I thought like, do you guys measure paper like A4, A5?
no, I don't know what that
Oh,
is.
okay. I thought it was like two sheets of paper like stuck together like that size.
Oh
Like
gosh,
two normal sheets. All right,
no,
okay,
no,
it's quite
they're big.
quite big.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
size is the ball? Is the ball like one-handed or do you need two hands?
You can only touch it with one hand.
Oh shit, okay. The
Yeah,
plot thickens.
you can't have 2 hands on the ball at the same time.
Okay.
Um,
What why is that? Oh, because you drown. No. Why is there a rule? Why is that rule there?
well, I don't know if I can give you the history of the sport enough to know why the rule is. I would guess that it's like if you put 2 hands on the ball, it's easier to you're also not allowed to put the ball underwater and hold on. You could keep yourself afloat basically if you lay on the ball or sit on the ball.
Oh, okay.
Um, but and it's just, big advantage. Also, it makes it easier to hold on to, like a
Yeah,
basketball,
yeah, yeah.
right? If I have a basketball in my hand and you've seen two guys fighting for a basketball,
Yeah.
becomes a wrestling match in the water, that's not gonna go well. So
And
one
is
hand on the
there
ball.
is there contact? Or can you
Oh yeah.
just block? Oh, you can actually hit each other, like push each other and shit.
Oh yeah. So well, okay. So the way that I explain water polo to people is it's the most similar to ice hockey. So if you watch ice
Oh,
hockey,
fuck, okay.
it's like
So do people throw off their goggles and start throwing slaps?
basically except um everything is legal unless the ref catches you, and the
Oh,
ref
okay.
can't see underwater, so
All
everything's
right.
legal. So
Okay. So the only way you give the game away is if the ref spots like blood floating and he
yeah,
can
yeah,
trace it
yeah.
back. Okay,
You,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
learn tricks to try and tell the ref that, you're being fouled or somebody's yanking on you and stuff, but, like, in college, when I got to college, I played for a year at Michigan, and those girls are so good. They've got their hands above the water, they're showing the ref, "I'm not doing anything, I'm not doing anything." The girl in front of them is drowning because they've got their legs wrapped around her. And so
It's like I'm not doing anything. She's
yeah,
dead.
yeah,
It's like floating.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
You
and
should
the ref
keep you should keep like one really long toenail.
right, oh, no, you get your nails checked before the game starts.
What? Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Yeah, the refs go
God.
around and they, like, check your nails and make sure that they're not sharp or too long, and
Yeah, that's
you
yeah.
have to, like, keep them cut down
That's
to the quick.
immediately where my brain went. I was
Yeah.
like, big toe, just keep a little triangle on it.
Oh, yeah. No, you still come out with, like, claw marks all
Yeah,
over
I'd
you.
say.
My assistant coach used to carry around a backpack full of extra swimsuits so that when we got ours torn apart, we just put on a new one.
Fuck, it was that
Yeah.
aggressive.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Jeez. And is so if you said about dropping the ball, so if the ball hits the water, is it a free for all? Like you just like whoever gets there first gets it basically? Or is there
Uh,
like say if you're on team A and I'm on team B and I accidentally let the ball drop, do I have to like move back and let you guys have it or can I still pick it up again?
no, no, yeah, the ball can be on the water whenever.
Oh, okay.
It can be on the water. You'll swim with the ball, you kinda, like, push it in front of you as you swim, like the water
Not very
pushes.
far if there's people like pulling you underwater. And
No.
how many's on a team? 5 on a team, is it?
Oh gosh, 7, 7 aside.
And do you play across the pool? Like or the length like is it say
The
side to side, not end to end?
it's oh gosh, now I'm not gonna remember. I've been out of water polo for, like, 15 years. But it's, lengthwise. You wouldn't play yeah, you wouldn't play the
You don't
short
play
end.
like the whole. Oh, you do play the whole pool?
Oh, yeah.
Fuck, okay. Right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you do have significant amount of room to swim then, I guess.
You got pretty
Um,
yeah.
and is there this is the second time I've done this. Someone else told me about another sport and I got way too deep. I think it was field hockey. I got way too deep. But fuck it, I'm going anyway. Is there any rules with like do you have to pass it a certain amount of times? Do you have to does a certain is there only a certain person that's allowed to score? Like, is there only like a you can anyone score? Can you throw it from anywhere? Do you have to be a certain distance away or pass a certain distance before you shoot?
Yeah, there's rules, there's a shot clock. So, like, as soon as you have the ball in the other end of the field, as soon as you take possession of the ball, you have a certain amount of time to put a shot on goal.
Oh,
Uh,
how long is the timer? Like seconds or like minutes?
no, I think it's like 30 seconds ish,
Oh,
something like that.
frantic.
It might be in the like the mid 20s.
It must be so hard to ref. Is the ref in the water as well? No.
No, the refs are up on
Yeah.
deck.
I was
Yeah.
thinking it must be so because like even just the splashes and shit, like you wouldn't be able to see anything anywhere. It'd just be
No,
water
you
all over the
can't.
place.
Yeah. Yeah, they when I got to college, one of the like points of learning was that the refs have less sympathy for you. And so if you're kind of like you'll kind of like jerk or something to tell the ref that you're getting fouled, to show him that somebody's yanking on you. And if you don't look like you're fighting hard enough to not drown, he won't give you the call.
Oh, so there's like a line. It's like, she's okay.
Toughen up, sis. You're just stop being a baby.
Jeez Christ.
Yeah,
Okay, so water polo.
yeah.
Um, in college, up as far as what age?
My first year, freshman year, first year of college.
Good
And
job.
then,
Well remembered. What was
yeah,
next then?
what's that?
What was next after that then?
I was just a recreational athlete after that. I'd thrown my shoulder out.
In the pool.
Yeah, I was athletic enough to keep up in a D1 water polo team, but I didn't have the years of experience. I'd only played for like 3 years in high school, so,
Yeah.
I didn't have the experience to not get hurt.
Okay.
So, I threw my shoulder out real
Yeah.
fast.
You're like being pulled underwater, your shoulders being dislocated, and the ref is like, "I don't think you're cut out for this."
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I'm also
um,
really small for a water polo player. Once you get to, like, D1 collegiate level,
are
everyone's
they all like swimmers that didn't make it kind of thing?
um, not necessarily, like, you have some pretty good swimmers for
Yeah,
sure, but they're just, like, bigger humans. Like if you think so, like hockey, right? Like, back to hockey, you put your biggest, meanest player in the middle and they sit in front of the net. And then the biggest, meanest defender sits with them and they basically fight for position in
yeah.
front of the net. And then everyone else rings around them and you're trying to either shoot from the outside or you're trying to put the ball into the center so that they have a
Mm.
better shot. And so like there's a couple players that are like really, really big humans. Like the more mass you have, the easier it is to move people around in the water and like take up space. You're also you want to be really tall, right? So it's like limb length and is an advantage with swimming, with throwing, all that stuff. Um,
And when you say recreational athlete, then are you like just going for a jog, that kind of stuff?
yeah, I was like, at the rec center, but I had like played all the sports. I
Just
played
like tick, 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 tick. I've done
like
everything.
football. I played like inner tube water polo, and I don't know, all the things I could play. I jumped into. I still liked being active and everything. I just thought my career as an athlete was done.
What were you studying in college?
I studied political science with an emphasis on international economics and development.
Right. So like working for the UN. That was the goal.
Yeah, yeah, UN, Peace Corps,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
something like that. I was interested in that.
And when did CrossFit wrap up then?
When I got home from college, I was, kicking around trying to find a way to stay active and fit. Like I don't sit still well, so I needed that outlet. But just found myself really, really bored in regular gyms. And there wasn't enough like sport environment for adults after
Hmm.
college. You know, the only things I really knew how to play, like I couldn't play soccer or water polo anymore, so I needed just like something. Um, and I walked into a regular gym, like a big gym that had a CrossFit box inside of it. And I walked by it and I was like, oh, that looks really cool. But, you know, I for sure can't do that. I'm not an athlete anymore. I've had too many injuries. Like, that's just not, I don't want to be hurt anymore,
Yeah.
But it looked cool for me just because they were doing cool movements, but also because it looked like the sport environment that I was used to rather than just like walking into a regular gym and everyone's doing their own things and they're on their like, headphones and everybody's like weirdly staring at you, but not looking at you at the same time. And it's like, it's just like, I found it a really socially awkward world to be in.
Yeah. I
And like,
think pretty much everyone finds it a socially awkward
yeah,
environment. Yeah.
yeah, and I'm used to team sports where there's like camaraderie and support for each other and the energy and like you're all kind of doing something together. And like I walked and was like staring in the window at this CrossFit gym and I was like, oh, I know that. Like I know what that is. I know who those people are. Those are my people.
Yeah. You're like standing like face pressed. Like,
I was. I
can I
pretty much.
can I come in?
I told the coach caught me staring and came out and dragged me in. Basically.
Can you remember your first class?
Um, I don't remember exactly what the workout was, but I know that I loved it and I was sore for 3 days. I
Yeah.
like didn't move for 3 days.
Do you ever get like that now? Like, do you ever take like a week, or are you ever like sick or something, can't train for a few days, go back? Because I saw Travis Mayer put up a video. I don't know if you saw it on a story about like a couple of hours ago, where he obviously broke or did something to his hand or his wrist, so he hasn't
Yeah.
been able to train. And he was like, did CrossFit for the first time in a few weeks, and it was like lunges, double unders, and wall balls, and like his legs were like visibly like just shaking. He was like, I can't stop them shaking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you ever had any of that, like where you've had a forced break and then just like your body's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah. Several times for several reasons.
Yeah, it's
um,
mad. You kind of think that people get to a certain level and it just doesn't happen. Like I have it if I don't train for 2 or 3 days and then I do something, I have like all my legs. Like if I do lunges or
Oh yeah.
something.
Yep.
But like I guess I always assume like you get to a certain line, you pass that line, and then that just doesn't happen to you anymore. You go
Yeah.
such a huge extreme that it just doesn't happen. Like,
Yeah. No, it's all at a different level. Like even I mean even post quarterfinals, like I took a week to just like train however I want. It wasn't like I wasn't training. I didn't take like a
mm,
full week off, but I took several days off um and then I just kind of did what I wanted to do, jumped into class workouts, did some extra accessory work, but like it was pretty light week.
yeah,
Um and we came back this week to start semifinals training, and like everyone in the chat rooms on the Misfit channels are like, I feel like I got hit by a truck. you know, like, you
yeah,
know, I mean, your threshold is like 4 to 6 hours of training a day, and then you like take a light week. It's like your body's it's like nothing. You come back
yeah.
to another 5 hours of training, and you're like, oh god.
That seems to be the most common story I've seen on people's Instagrams who have qualified for semifinals is like that day one picture of
Yeah,
like, oh shit. Like where it's like, is this really what I wanted? Maybe I didn't want this as bad as I thought. I'd say it probably gives a bit of comfort to the people who are like finished in 70th place in quarterfinals who are like, maybe it's a good thing I didn't get in like that I don't actually
yeah,
have to go.
yeah. No, I
Um
think it's a comfort to my members too. Like I've definitely like, I'm a coach, so I walk in and my members always think I'm really unrelatable. That I can't. I don't know what it's like to be sore. They're like, you don't know what this is like. You don't know, what it's like to take a week off and then like have to come back.
yeah,
No,
what
no,
is it?
not that before in my life.
What is it Glassman said? It varies by degree, not by kind. So it's like,
Exactly,
yeah, it's just
exactly.
it takes more to make me feel the way you feel, but I still feel the way you feel.
Right.
Um, I wanted to talk to you about I want to talk to you about last year, because there's a few athletes where it feels like things happen that are like pivotal in their careers that like probably at the time don't feel like that. So I'm thinking like the immediate person that springs to mind is Nick Matthew. So he obviously was in a very similar position that you were in um, twice. So he missed out. Colton pipped him like 2 years ago, and then Colton pipped him last year. I mean, what are the odds of being the same person? That must be such a kick in the face.
Oh yeah.
Um, and he missed out again, and then he got called up because I can't remember why someone dropped out, someone popped or dropped out or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you call him? Phil Toon got popped, so he
Oh yeah,
stepped in. Um, and then he like hero at the games, like wins
yeah. Mhm.
like comes first in two workouts, gets rookie of the year, like it's
Yeah.
just amazing. Um, and then I remember both years when he missed out being like, I feel so bad for him. Like it's so like I like Colton. I was delighted for Colton. But I was just like, God, that poor guy. Like, what are the chances that 2 years in a row you miss it? It must be awful.
That's rough.
And then I saw you missing out by 1 point.
Yep.
That was at Mac.
Hmm.
No,
Yep.
Syndicate? Mac.
The Mac. Yep.
Um, like what happens after that? Are you like, oh, this is amazing. I finally got this fuel now, and this is next year I'm gonna fucking dominate. Or are you like, I'm finished? Like, I'm not like you can't come that close and come back from it, so I'm done. Or were you like mixture of both? Were you like ebbing and flowing between like, this is great now, I've got this impetus, and then the game's run, and you're like, fuck this, I missed out by a point, and then it's over. You're like, yeah, let's go.
um yeah, no, I am not a person to get defeated. I mean, I've played sports long enough that I've been defeated a lot. That's if I gave up when I got defeated, that would be I wouldn't have had the career that I've had. So it's
Yeah,
like that it doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. Like it was devastating. I definitely spent a couple days doing a lot of crying and uh and then like feeling the emotions that come with that kind of loss. Um, but but no, I mean, it was also like as soon as I got over like the initial hurt of like not having made it, it was also very instantly like crazy proud of myself and, huge sense of accomplishment. I mean, it was shocking for me to even be in that position. Like I shocked the hell out of myself coming as close as I did. Um, and I think that, yeah, like looking back on it now, like I almost don't remember the pain of it. I only see it as like a wildly successful year.
Yeah.
Um, that pain doesn't last very long, but it definitely is fueling. It definitely is um, like I'm that person where if you the way to get me to do something is to tell me you don't think I can do it. so,
Okay.
so, like you say, all right, you can
I
take
don't think you can qualify for the games this year. You're
yeah,
welcome.
yeah.
um, do you like? Was there part of you say when you because there is a like an element of like the one that got away or like the almost
Mhm.
um. So like when you're did you watch the games last year or did you like just avoid it?
I actually, no, I watched it. I was actually there. I was,
Oh my god, it's even
yeah,
worse.
that was, that was hard actually.
Yeah, it's just the fuck. That's like watching your ex get married, like to
Yeah,
the person they cheated on you with.
yeah.
Um, so did you watch like you didn't watch like the individual like you didn't watch the heats and stuff, did you?
No, I was actually working most of the game, so that did help. It was
Yeah.
better that I was like kept busy. Um, so I watched what I could, but mostly I had watched it. We'd like finish working for the day, and then I'd watch all of the live streams back in
Oh
the
yeah.
hotel room at night.
And was there any part of you you could admit this if you like? Was there any part of you that was watching? Because obviously Rebecca Fusile, she was 1 point ahead and she qualified. Was there any part of you watching it being like, oh, if I was there now, I would have done such and such thing, or like, oh, I would have gone unbroken on that one. What are you doing, Becky?
I mean, yeah, you're always watching to see, like, I always look at games workouts and see like what I think I could do and how I think I could stack up, like it's a good way to sort of evaluate where you're at against the competition.
Hmm.
And I think that like it's really interesting to me how much the sport's grown because yeah, sure. Like I looked at like some of those heavy weights that, Rebecca struggled with and yeah, I let me at that heavy barbell, like I can do that. That heavy yoke, that's no big deal. And then I looked at crossover dumbbell unders and wall facing handstand push-ups and pressing handstands. And I was like,
Yeah.
like really
You were
impressive.
quiet. You were quiet during those workouts and loud. You were like, "Oh, bitch, I want to clean." And then you're like, "Yeah, just
Yeah, I
shut up."
know. Yeah, like it was so impressive how, like I think she had like a fourth place finish on one of the
Yeah.
gymnastics workouts. Like, so she's like really able to hammer home and like especially workouts like that where none of the athletes were prepared for those movements and she
Mm.
was able to adapt and like I thought that was really impressive performance. So like yeah, I mean I'm a different athlete. There are things that I would have excelled on and then there are things that I would not have excelled on that she definitely did. So
That's
um,
fair.
yeah.
Um, can you remember can you remember a time after that first class and before, say, your narrow miss last year? Can you remember a time where you were like, "Oh shit, I actually have a career in this, and I can like." Can you remember? Was there a moment or a competition or an event or a workout or something that made you think like, "Yeah, okay, I can go like to the games." Like either on a team or individual, but like I am an actual athlete and I can actually compete properly in this.
Um, I think the the year that we really put our first like really serious team together. The year I mean, we'd had really good teams before, like regional teams, but in 2019 we really like went all in on like we're putting this team together to qualify for the games. Like
Hmm.
that is the goal for every one of us. We're, putting everything we got into this. And that was we took second place in Brazil. So not see, I'm just used to being one spot
Yeah.
out. So that was that was actually pretty devastating. But that was kind of the year where it was like, oh, if I put everything into this, that this goal is within reach.
I love how quickly you changed there from like manic laughter to that was actually pretty devastating.
Yeah.
It's like, ha ha ha, oh, my
Oh,
heart
that
was
happened a
broken.
lot.
Ha ha
Yeah.
ha. It's like, just laugh through the pain.
That's right.
Um, is it easier or harder, or like, was it easier or was it more difficult 2022 versus 2019? Like, when you're part of a group and you miss out, is there like company in the misery of it? Or is it easier when it's just you and you can just deal with it in your own way and like you've only, you've only yourself to thank and you've only yourself to blame? Whereas if there's four of you, is it easier to be like, oh, if that dickhead had just gone unbroken on that like set of whatever, like, or if other people are not as upset as you want them to be, or if other people are more upset than you feel they should be, is it easier just to do it on your own, or is it easier to have the company of the group and go through that together?
I think it's easier to have the company of the group personally. That's one of the benefits of being on a team, and that was one of the big adjustments to going individual. That in terms of mindset, I had to work my way around. Um, you're definitely held accountable for your teammates. Like that's you never want to let your teammates down. I'll put myself into the ground for my teammates. Like
Yeah.
that's something that I just don't think I can manufacture in any other way. When your teammates are there fighting with you, like that's a different feeling. It's a different level of motivation. And everybody's hurting and everybody, they're still fighting, so I'm still fighting, even though I
Hmm.
feel like I'm dying.
Have you
And so
brought that with you into individual? Like, have you noticed that you've managed to carry a bit of it over, if not all of it?
yeah, but yeah, so like I think the thing that I felt as an individual was um that there's still that same sense of like you're accountable to your team. My coach, my husband, who is my manager, my PT travels with me, who's the gym owner here. Like I had a group of supporters that traveled to semifinals with me. Like I have people on my team that like I am very conscious that I'm trying not to let them down. And they believe in me and they've invested a lot into me. And so there's an accountability there. But at the end of the day, I'm the only one on the floor.
Hmm.
So it's not like you succeed or fail together. I succeed or fail, like and it's but I still have that team, so like it's very much more acute of like I let my team down.
Yeah.
I was the only one there. I was the only one that had control on the floor. And so like that's all on me.
How much of last year was uh like weighed heavier on you because of that? Like, because obviously it's great if you're succeeding. And I know you felt afterwards, like when the kind of grief had passed or whatever, you felt that it was a success afterwards. But like obviously in the immediacy of it, like when you're on the floor and you hear her name called out and not your name, are you like, is your immediate thought like, fuck, I let everyone down? Or like, does that come kind of later?
Oh, sorry, I'm losing you.
Oh,
I
I
did
think
not
well,
hear any of that.
I can hear you, but you're frozen. Yeah, hang on a sec. Can you hear me now?
You still here?
Yeah, I can hear you. I just
I
you're stuck.
you're kind of
Okay. I'll remove her and I'll ask her maybe to go and come back in. Not sure what's going on. We'll wait and see what happens. Um. Oh, you're back.
Okay. Kicked me
Okay.
out.
Yeah. No, I removed. You're still there. Look.
Okay.
Oh, it's gone now. But your old one was still there. You were just frozen. It was a very
Oh, okay.
it was a flattering freeze though. It wasn't one of those like weird faces. It was like a flattering one. Oh, you're frozen again.
Still choppy.
Are you on like 4G or whatever?
Okay. Shit.
I can kind of hear you intermittently, but you look like it's on Nokia 3210. It's like very grainy. And you're gone. I'm just talking to myself. Oh, another Kelly.
We're back.
Yeah. What are you on now? You're on something different.
I tried my phone to see if that worked better.
Why? What were you on up until now? Your laptop?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize. You're still
Yeah.
there. Turn your phone landscape or yeah, perfect.
Better?
Ideal.
Okay, cool.
Oh, that's way better. Yeah, okay. That's way better. Shit, what did I ask you? Oh yeah. When you're on the floor then last year, does that make it worse than like when you hear Rebecca's name called out, does your head immediately go to like your husband, your coach, that kind of stuff, or does that come later? Is that like as you're walking off the floor, it kind of washes over you, like that feeling of letting? Because it's like it's funny because you say that and you say that that you're letting people that like me hearing that is irrational. Like I understand how you feel that way.
I know.
And I'm sure afterwards, I'm sure when you're talked to about it, you
Yeah.
agree that it is irrational, but like
Yeah.
it's obviously something that you use and it's something that works for you. But
Right.
like I'm curious, like how long does it take for that to kick in when you hear something like that? How long does it take for your brain to go there?
So my first thought always, I think again, I've been in sports for so long, and in soccer especially, there's like it's like beaten into you. The first thing you do when you finish the game is congratulate the other team. You shake
Yeah.
hands, and it's like, there's a sportsmanship thing there. So my first thought, hearing Rebecca's name called and knowing that mine wasn't going to be, was just to make sure that I congratulated her on, a well fought competition, and, um, you know, good game, well done, you know.
Yeah. Is
And so,
that like holding back a wall of tears doing that? Are you like putting on a brave face, kind of giving her a hug and inside you're like crippled?
I mean, to some extent, but like also like there's a genuine appreciation for competition, like that's, it's not like I wouldn't say that it's a false, like
Yeah.
good job, but you suck, like it's
Good
you
job.
know,
Hope you get injured.
right. That's not really what it
Yeah,
feels
yeah.
like. Like I honestly, like, if I was not going to qualify for the games, like there's no other way that I would want to not qualify.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah.
Like I was as close as you can possibly get. Like, and it was a really hard fought competition. Like all the way through, we were just fighting for every point. And that's exciting, and it's fulfilling, and it's, energizing. Like there's an adrenaline and a drama in that's like that's what you want out of sport. Like that's,
Yeah.
you know I don't, I don't know, that's what makes it exciting, that's what makes it fun. And you either, you come up on top or you don't, but like you wouldn't want to play the game if it was easy. So
Yeah.
it like it really is like a genuine appreciation for a really good competitor. And so like that's important to me, is to make sure that I acknowledge that. And so that was sort of my first thought. And then yeah, and then afterwards it kind of, like I gave her a hug and congratulated her, and then like you kind of, then it starts sinking in, like you're standing around, like you've congratulated everyone that's qualified, and there's kind of like nothing else to do with yourself now, but
Mm,
like you're standing on the floor, you can't go anywhere, but it's starting to sink in that you're done, the competition's over, you start like having that adrenaline crashing kind of feeling. And that's why I walked straight to my husband and cried on his shoulder a little bit
yeah.
till he
Uh,
told me to stand back up and go do my job.
it's funny though as well. So I've spoken to two people. I mentioned Steve Foster earlier on. I spoke to him and came up organically, and then James Jousey is he's Sam Briggs's coach and Emma McQuaid's coach. I was talking to him the other day, and he actually brought it up, and I was like, "Shit, that's so weird." Like Steve Fawcett said that to me 4 hours ago.
Okay.
Um, that he would. They both kind of said that there comes a point in every athlete's career, hopefully, where the athlete kind of realizes that literally nobody gives a fuck apart from them and like the 3 or maybe 4 people that are directly around them. And like if you lose, so say like in your position last year, like it sounds incredibly harsh, but it's like they were both saying how liberating it is that like the next day nobody knows who you are anymore, and nobody's like, you know, concerned, or like Steve was saying, like, oh, it's great, like it's nice to have the adulation of like, oh, congrats on qualifying for semi-finals. But he was like, I mean, if I finish last, they're not going to message me saying, oh, boo, you're shit. Like,
Right.
and like, he's like, they don't care. Like, it's just
Yeah.
there's these moments that pass, and then once they pass, it's like, you're just totally forgotten about. Like James is like, your today's news and your tomorrow's like takeaway chip paper, like, it's just you're irrelevant again.
Yeah.
um and it's funny hearing you talk about the 3 or 4 people that matter more than anything are the ones that like, they prop you up all year, but then you feel like you're letting them down then, or
Yeah.
like you're bringing them along. Yeah, it's funny. um this year then, was there any part of you that was like sluggish or like reluctant, or like slow to get going, or was it the opposite? Were you being like held back, where people saying like, oh, you need to take it easy, like, it's a long season, like was there any party that was like, oh, I'm gonna work 10 times as hard as last year, like just to make up that extra point?
Yeah. I mean, I messaged my coach. I was not sure I was going to do another season at first. My husband and I had agreed that last season was my last season. so, so there were a lot of conversations that we had to have that was just like,
I fucking bet there was, yeah.
okay, but it was one point,
Yeah.
you know. Um, and so yeah, there was a lot of that, and like conversations about like, can we sacrifice what we know is needed to be sacrificed? Oh, this time.
Yeah, I think it was very effective when your phone was out the door. The reception was good, or the service was good. If you can move it back to there.
There.
Oh, God damn it. Putting the laughing face after that comment makes it look like sarcasm, just FYI. This isn't as bad as when Wad Zombie was on. Oh my god, that was rough. Yeah, she is cool. She is cool. Didn't know Kelly before, but she's so great. She is actually really cool. Yeah, she's a great sense of humor. It's always good. It's always a good sign. Come on, give me 5 more minutes. Okay, we're back.
Trying to move, so maybe I can.
Yeah, it was perfect. Whatever way you had your phone out the door of the car was perfect, and then when you turned into the car, your car must be made of
Yeah.
lead. Is that your dog that's barking?
Yes.
Oh, the poor dog. It's lonely.
Poor baby who never gets any attention.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. Um. Yeah. Sorry, you were saying that you had conversations with your husband. Numerous conversations, I bet.
Yeah, it was a lot of conversations. Sorry, I just lost my dog. Yeah, a lot of conversations about like, can we sacrifice what needs to be sacrificed? uh, to make sure that like another season happens, and not, like if the goal is to go to the games, then that's not something you take lightly. It's something that's a really big team effort. It's not just me. My husband has to make sure that he's on board, and the yeah, we decided we were ready to do it, and he got on board. I got on board. There were definitely, like, it was a slow process. It was like we weren't sure that I was going to have a season.
Yeah.
Probably all the way up to the Open, to be honest.
Wow.
And that was for a different reason. I had a shoulder issue that popped up towards before semifinals last year, and we thought it was a minor shoulder issue. We thought it was just some tendinosis, and okay, I'll rehab it in the off season and it's going to be fine. And we didn't realize I passed all the tests for structural damage. No, I saw multiple people and nobody thought that it was more serious than tendinosis. And then eventually, like, the rehab wasn't working. It wasn't working. And then we finally like went in and looked at it a little deeper, and oh, you have a tear.
Oh shit.
And so and it seems like I've been actually walking around with a tear for a while, probably close to 2 years.
Water polo. It's from water polo.
I mean, yeah, they warned me when they said, like, okay, we need to do some imaging. They were like, okay, look, you played water polo, like, we're probably gonna find stuff in there. Like,
we're gonna find someone's tooth.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, like, it's not gonna be abnormal. The only thing we're looking for is like what is the problem right now.
It's the lead. It's the lead car has us again. Your service is going again with your lead car. Oh my god, this is killing me. It's good stuff as well. It's extra annoying when it's good stuff. It's 59 minutes, but it's only actually 9 minutes of content. 50 minutes of dead screen. Okay, last time. Come on, I believe in you, Kelly. Last time. could be calling time of death. My son puked on me like 10 minutes before this interview, like projectile exorcism style vomit 3 times. Just fell in some dead air. That's fun. It's taking her a while this time, so I reckon she might be going in to connect to Wi-Fi. That's what I do. Yeah, so I've had shit rubbed in my beard this week by my daughter in her sleep, well, in a semi-sleepy state. And then my son puked. I was just bringing him up. Thankfully, he got sick when he did. I was just bringing him up to put him up to bed. And he just like coughed, burped. It's like, I just like projectiles. Yeah, it was funny. I mean, like, it wasn't funny this time. Once I knew it was okay, it was funny. As I was mopping it up, it was funny. You have to laugh at these things. Okay.
Oh my gosh. Sorry.
Last time. It's fine. Honestly, it's fine. I wanted to ask you, we'll wrap up, right, just in case it happens again.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask you, so last year, you missed out by a point, and this year, obviously the system has changed a bit. You got these 2 semi-finals. I was looking at the list of semi-finalists in your area, and there's like 12 games athletes in your semi-final, and then some others that are like, more or less like, Olivia Kerstetter, like like she's a games champion just in a different division, I guess. When you see the semi-final, when you see the list, when you see everything, are you like, fueled by it? Are you humbled by it? Are you like, is there a part of you that needs that, like, that needs that kind of underdog kind of vibe? You said that tell me I can't do it, I'll try harder is one of your things. Or is there a part of you that's like, oh fuck, why can't they just leave it like the way it was for another year, and just then when I finish, then bring in whatever they want to bring in?
Yeah, I guess I'm not thinking a lot about who else is there. I think that last year I proved to myself that I can hang, and that's really motivating. So regardless of who's there, I have a lot of self-confidence now that I didn't have even last year, that I can hang with whoever I need to hang with, and I'm capable of qualifying. So it doesn't really matter who's there. It's the same fight regardless. The only thing I can control is whether or not I'm a better athlete this year than I was last year. And so that's really what I'm focused on. And I'm used to CrossFit changing the game. That's happened like most years. So, I kind of feel like sometimes that's an advantage for me because I'm really good at rolling with the punches. I kind of just like, okay, here's the new game. Still going to play it. I'm going to try and play it better than anyone else does. So, that's still doing the same thing.
Is this your last year then?
This will be my last year competing in the open division.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know that I could, honestly say that I'll never compete again. That's probably not ever going to happen. Like I want to be a fit mom and be a fit grandma. And so hopefully I'll compete in the masters divisions. Maybe you'll see me on a team again. I won't rule anything out. But as far as the open division goes, this will be the last year, and priorities will shift. Or gonna have a family. I have things that I want to do with my career, and so it won't be training over everything.
Yeah. Well, look, thank you for coming on. Thanks for being so patient with your service and stuff.
Thank you for being patient.
No, I've had worse. Don't worry. But I appreciate you coming on. Best of luck. Congrats on everything you've achieved so far, and best of luck. With your semi-final, it's like I mentioned the names, but it's funny. Like you look at, it's just so hard. Like it's only 10 spots, and it's so hard to pick. And like every second person you go down, you're like, oh well, they'll obviously, but then and then you go down two more, you're like, oh well, obviously both of them will go. Like, yep. So it is. It's open season, really. It's up for grabs. So I really hope you get your chance. It'd be a great finish to this chapter, I guess, in your story. But yeah, congrats and best of luck with everything.
Thank you very much. It was really great to talk to you.
You too.